I'd like to end by doing something a little bit different. I think what I've been inspired by in Stuart Macadam's Cinemaddicts website, and the fact that he got this going and he's got over 1,000 members, and that there are so many things going on within it, and the fact that he's written a book, I think is just excellent and inspirational for a 23-year-old. And it seems to me that there is a gospel insight that all of us can be creative by. And we may not build websites, or we may not write books or sermons. That's not important. I think the creative thing that God asks us to do is to be as Christ. And what I'd like to do is share the final slide for tonight. Just bear with me. And what it says is this. I used it in a video that I did earlier in the week. And it's from the poet Gerard Manley Hopkins. And if anyone critiqued him, yeah, his English is all kind of jumbled up and crazy, etc., except it makes poetic sense, it makes meaning sense, it makes a whole lot of sense. So let me read it to you, and I think this is the heart of creativity. This is just the end of the poem. I say more. The just man justices, keeps grace, that keeps all his goings graces, acts in God's eye what in God's eye he is, Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes not his, to the Father through the features of other men's faces. Well, there we are. There's a way of looking at how we can be creative in God's eyes, as if we were Christ in other people's eyes. And that, to me, is possibly the source, Max, of all creativity. That in the final analysis, creativity bursts through. It's there by God's grace, and by God's grace we're able to use it and hopefully bring things that are of interest and pleasure to others. Any final comments from you before we say goodnight, Stuart?
Yeah, well, I mean, interesting you bring up Gerard Manley Hopkins. I actually remember a few years ago studying one of his poems, Pied Beauty, and the opening two lines are, "Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple colour as a brinded cow." And I thought to myself, it's sort of like a very elegant way of, I guess, describing the creative process. You know, it may look like, you know, I guess a, you know, deformity or irregularity, but in essence, it's something which can be appreciated in a lot of instances. And I think I did mention at the service this morning, you know, creativity is not just limited to arts and film and TV and like something and visual text. It's something which you can do no matter what you're in or what you're doing. You know, you could, if you've got a wife or a girlfriend or someone, you can, you know, be creative in what you do with them, like take them out in something which is exciting and exotic and original. You can, you know, be a great pet owner, do something exciting with your animal, just stuff like that. And I think once you start to do that, you realize that, you know, being creative is a sort of, it's a process, and it's always a process which can be improved. And aiming towards that perfection is always something which is very satisfying.
I think that's a great note to go out on, and thank you so very much for being with us this evening. So Stuart and I will say good night to everyone.